don't take that breath, take that pause, learn to thrive in our own spaces, we will get burnout and we will fall even so hard it will really hurt. Hi, and we're girlfriends and we're back.
Welcome, everyone. Today we're talking money, power, and hustle.
And we're going to be unapologetic about it.
Yep.
We're going to get real, that's for sure.
Unapologetic as about it.
Well, you can swear.
You can. Or as your grandmother would say, what was it? Bunk
We're not allowed to say.
Bunk off? Bonk off?
We're not saying that. We're gonna honor grandma.
That's for a later episode.
Behind the scenes.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna be talking about the lessons we've learned, the meets we're smashing.
But that's maybe for an in-person with girlfriends on tour.
Yeah.
We're going to meet our audience in all
yeah.
parts of the world, and we'll share the anecdotes then from grandma.
Absolutely.
That's the way it needs to be. But I think our biggest thing is the lessons that we've learned, whether they've been easy or hard.
Yes. But first, before we dive in, a massive thank you to our sponsors. So thank you to Blueprint for supporting us in producing this season of Girlfriends in Style.
And Uncommon for their smart style all over London.
And ultimately, Blueprint are helping us with our Blueprint for Girlfriends. We are super excited.
Blueprint
studio space.
Studios.
Blueprint
Yes.
Studios. And it's recently opened, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, but did you know they've been
Absolutely
going
beautiful.
for 29 years?
It's amazing.
Actually, Mark started it 29 years ago.
I mean, I'm bowled over by the way in which they've set this up, the way in which they've designed it. And I really think it would be great to have some of our audience here for future episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And even with
yeah.
Uncommon workspaces
Yes.
and just going through the space and
Fantastic.
working and getting inspired by it. Thank you all for sponsoring
Thank
us.
you.
Thank
Now,
you.
back to why we are here. Money, power, hustle. Let's go. Emmy?
Oh, well, I'm crap with money. I always have been. I mean, I think when I was younger, my first job was, well, a student nurse, but back in those days, you got paid for it. So you were working on the job, but my first paycheck was £350. And back in the 80s, it was like, oh, wow, I felt really rich. Obviously not as much as you would in the banking world. But when I then qualified...
There, darling. My first job was in New Look, like we discussed.
Yeah, do you know what my first job was? Picking daffodils at 5 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning in the Cornish
wow.
fields. I then came back from that to work in a nursery, and then I'd go in an afternoon to do cleaning and ironing in a pub, and then in the evenings I'd do night shift, and I was working in a nursing home.
Sorry,
Go on,
ahead.
baby.
I was going to say, I'm so proud of you because you are an empowered woman. Yeah. You are an independent woman. You are a hard-working woman, and you are a disciplined woman.
Yes.
So more power to you.
Absolutely.
What about you, though? Your problem is that you push yourselves to the limit. Both of you, actually.
There's a saying in Hindi, jab tak hai ja. For as long as I have life, I will keep pushing myself.
And
We're a
that's-
long
that's
time
all-
dead.
I think that my first
11
job
lives and counting.
my first job was
Oh, yeah, true.
working in my mum's company.
How old are you?
So we've established I'm in my 30s. So.
Yes.
No, I mean, how old were you?
I cannot remember, maybe 12.
So we were all in our
Very
teens.
young. Yeah, we were all in our
12,
early
maybe
teens.
11, 12. I'm not too sure. Sorry, Mum, if I got the year wrong. But basically, I was really young. And I think that my mum always instilled in us the ethics and etiquettes of, whatever, of hard work.
Yes.
Ethics.
The ethics of hard
Yes.
work. My father as well. And so from a very young age, just because my mum ran the company, and she still runs a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria, and alongside so many other things that she's doing, and she's a huge pioneer in her time and a disruptor. But when I was working in her office, I didn't come in as the boss's daughter who is just going to come in, even as though I was young, and just be entitled. I cleaned shelves.
Good for you.
I mopped floors. I ran errands. That was literally what I was doing.
But isn't that the best way to learn, though?
Yes, exactly.
With humility. And to respect and appreciate everyone that
Exactly.
makes that building
I had
and that
people
organisation
that I reported
tick.
to.
Yes.
I wasn't reporting to my mother. I was reporting to the people who
Yes,
were there, who were
yes.
above me. It wasn't the boss's daughter. This is a staff who is working here. And my mom always told them, do not see her as somebody who is, when she's working,
Don't
she's
give
not
her
my
an easy
daughter.
time, yeah.
That's why you're
So
so independent.
even
and
when
sorted
I
now.
will maybe mistakenly break something, that will come out of my salary.
Good.
And that has also created a discipline for me. Even you guys know,
I know.
even with business, I don't fuck around. Just because I love you and you're my sister and you're my best friend doesn't mean that I
We
will
are
not drop
thorough.
an agreement and make sure that it's signed.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that the I's will not be dotted and the T's will not be crossed. It doesn't mean that I will not hold you accountable when you screw up. And that was a lesson that I also learned the hard way from also doing business with friends and other people in the past. And I learned, you know what?
And
No.
lessons from family also.
In order for me to save
Yes.
the relationship, I would rather be honest and create those boundaries. But I had to learn how to create those boundaries with myself first.
I think that is the biggest thing, and that was actually one of the things we've also talked about previously, whether we've been together, was going into business with friends. It's a very risky thing because you think about it, you think about how close we are.
Yeah.
When you are trying to do something, no matter whether it's paid, whether it's not paid, whether it's on a charity basis, whether it's at a high end, you know, for you sit around, you meet lots and lots of very high end people, you have an impression to give. But when you are with your friends, they know who you are. They know, and like you would say, you build on my strengths. And like when I'm writing scripts or I'm writing plans, I know where your strengths lie.
Yes.
And I think that's the advantage with working with friends. But when you are actually doing things like that, you cannot cross those boundaries. This is what we're doing. Yes, I know I might appear bossy. Like, come on, girls, you take forever. You are
timing.
literally a princess.
Indian standard timing.
Yeah,
Fashionably
well,
late. No,
yeah.
I'm just playing with you. Hey, I had the discipline to get up after 3 hours and drive here.
Yeah,
for 4,
I'll give you that
So
one.
that's
You
the
had the
thing.
discipline to get up
Yes.
this morning and go for a run.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And
So
you
that's
also
the thing.
slept for 2 hours.
We are all very motivated.
We are. We're
but
very
disciplined. It's not every time we feel motivated, but we drag ourselves out the bed and we say, we are going to get shit done.
And I think we've got good role models around us. We've got each other.
Yeah.
We've got other women that we try to lift up, that lift us up as well through that. I think there's a special place in hell, they say, for women who bring other women down.
Absolutely.
And I think we've been very conscious of disengaging from those types of circles.
Yeah.
We invite other women into our circles. We collaborate. We believe in a bigger
try.
slice of a bigger pie. Yes, we try, but I think we try with diligence now, and we share and cross-pollinate a lot.
Actually, that is true.
Because, if you think about the dinners we had at Home House in London recently, for example, or even the prior one, we are a very close-knit circle just around that table. And hi to our friends who were with us that night.
Yeah,
Hi, guys.
I think we are very privileged to have those ladies around our table, and we are very filtered, and I think we're the sort of people that have each other's back. And for me, integrity is not doing the right thing when everyone's watching. That's easy to do. It's doing the right thing when no one's watching.
Exactly.
And I think if you have a closed circle like that, I think the strength of just that dining table at Home House and the ladies we had with us, and we were representing all different parts of the world, all different sectors. I think we had enough. We discussed. We had probably enough quantum between us to run a country.
Yep.
We
Most
had
probably-
enough
we
knowledge
most
of it.
probably
do a better job,
Exactly.
actually.
Well, depends on which country.
Oh, savage! Blimey.
But where I'm going with this, and you talked about your mum, being a rock star as the head of the pharmaceutical company in Nigeria. Amazing. My mother has turned into an entrepreneur in her 60s. Amazing. Whilst I've been here this week, she's been running an entire delegation at the largest fintech conference in the world. So, it's been fantastic. So I think also we are motivating women in our families, in our friend circles, and vice versa. It's a reciprocal effect, and I think it's very powerful because I think economic empowerment and economic independence are one end of the spectrum. Economic abuse and economic dependence are the other end of the spectrum. And I've been an ambassador for a charity called Surviving Economic Abuse for many years, and I've helped them through lived experiences. Submit policy. We've been to Parliament. We've talked about changes in legislation under Section 76 of the Serious Crime Act of the United Kingdom. And there's a very clear distinction that if you have an empowered person economically, they have the ability to make certain choices and decisions that can be in the correct interests for them and their families. If you are disempowered by the system or your family or your employment, you become vulnerable. And when you become vulnerable, you can be abused, exposed, manipulated by systems. And so for me, and we were discussing this earlier, having your own money or access to it is not that you can own or buy anything that you want. Yes, it's a nice privilege, you know, if you want that in life and you have the ability, but to the flip, it's so that nothing and no one can own you. And for me, that's the most powerful thing.
Especially when you've been owned.
Yes, and I think that is also such a huge thing, especially for women.
Absolutely.
Because when we talk about economic empowerment, and not just for women also, but people from also underrepresented groups, one of the largest issues we have is the fact that we have seen the power that economic empowerment plays in everything. I mean, look at what happened to Elon Musk when everyone decided, you know what, we're not going to buy Tesla.
He was a month away from bankruptcy in 2019. Imagine.
So we know how critical economic empowerment is, but for so many people, for so many women and people from underrepresented communities, I think there is also a lack of education on finance. So back to you, Bij. So my question, literally, because you are financial whiz,
Kind of.
is you are, and it's basically how can people actually educate themselves economically? Because I think that even there are lots of adults who are not actually financially educated, and because of that, there are lots of mistakes we're making. There are lots of opportunities out there that they don't know about, and probably we don't even know about. I cannot count the number of times you told me about some opportunity, and it's not like I'm not educated financially, but it actually took me years to kind of educate myself. And even though I had gone years doing businesses, I was still not actually financially literate. What do you think?
I think there is definitely an opportunity for education and awareness. And
Should it be introduced in schools?
It definitely should.
100%. I think it's a basic skill, how to open a bank account. What does your interest on a loan mean? How do you take out a mortgage? What does car finance mean? What does credit card finance mean? You know, how do you buy a bond, for example? What does that mean? How do you invest? You know, I think basic financial literacy should be a life skill. And I think it should be taught in schools. And I know in some countries they are doing that now, and they are rolling out a lot of programs. But I also think that there's a massive gap in many countries as well. And I think that is the reason that we are seeing people suffer. Even if you just look at post-pandemic, close to home, we have seen poverty levels rise in an unprecedented way. We have seen homelessness on the increase in an unprecedented way, at least in our lifetime.
Especially since COVID, I've noticed that as well.
Absolutely, because the cost of living...
Because during COVID, people were supposedly saving because we're not going out, we're not doing anything.
But they weren't earning either.
They were not earning
That's
as much.
the thing.
And the cost of living has gone up, darling.
Exactly, that's the thing.
So when you've got a family that had, you know, 2 parents and 2 children, 2 parents were earning, now you've probably got 1 parent earning, you've probably got dependents from, you know, grandparents' age, and then dependents from the children, and cost of everything has gone up to the point where VAT has been introduced, and you know, and I'm not going to get into that, but what I'm saying is there is a pinch for families, and if that one breadwinner is impacted, then the entire family is impacted, and it's not just a United Kingdom thing. It's a global situation that we are dealing with, and I think if people are not equipped to understand how to make the right decisions around money, then again they go back to being vulnerable, and if you are vulnerable, you are exposed. So, for example, you could have payments fraud on your credit card because somebody may have captured your PIN or may have captured a photo of your card on Apple Pay and tried to do something. And again, I think, you know, there are also so many more ways that people can be, you know, exposed through financial fraud and through financial vulnerabilities. So it becomes increasingly important to create education and awareness around that. And I do see in the UK a lot of the banks doing that. I see improvement in the consumer code from a retail and commercial banking perspective, but equally, you know, there are certain products out there that have really high interest rates. Now, that's a separate problem for a separate discussion, but going back to, you know, where ethnic minorities and women sit, they are unfortunately underrepresented. Women own about 30 to 40% of the world's wealth, depending on wherever you are, but they're 50% of the population. In the great wealth transfer that's going to happen over the next sort of 20, 30 years, women are set to receive 150 trillion US dollars. So it'll be the greatest wealth transfer in history to women, which can be from succession planning, from survival of spouses, from inheritance, and from building their own careers. But, as you know, I entered into the venture capital world about 5 years ago, and one thing that I really wanted to focus on was the fact that only 3% of all venture capital funding goes to women-led startups. And again, this is not that women don't have the right propositions. They have amazing businesses. 2 examples around me. But they don't know where to go to get the funding.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. It's a,
So you fall before you can thrive.
But then there's also the stereotype of when you're going to get funding and the ridiculous questions that you also get asked as well. But I think, speaking on that, I want to go and flip a conversation as well with respect to this. When we talk about power, money, power, and hustle, and often for some people, for some women, for some people, let me not say women, there is that idea of not really understanding money.
I still don't.
No, not in the way that you're talking about. It's in the way of thinking that we often people go around with that mindset unknown to them, and money is controlling them, and it makes them go around, do stuff and do things, not work smart, but also go ahead and do things that they ought not to do or they don't need to do in order to acquire money and power.
Desperate
and honestly,
measures.
exactly. To be honest, I used to be like that when I was much younger. I was so desperate to be independent. I was so desperate to not have to rely on anyone, not even my parents. And I worked my ass off to run my businesses, but I also felt like there were choices that I made because I felt like I need to do what I need to do to get to where I need to get to.
So if you look back now and you could say to yourself when you're in your 20s, what would we advise each other to do?
For me, I would tell myself that I am
Invest
in
in
control.
Facebook, Microsoft, and Apple.
No, I would tell myself
I
that
would.
I have the power. Money doesn't own me, I own money. And that means that when you have that mindset that money doesn't own you, you own money.
You say that, but in this day and age, unfortunately, we are all we have to be money driven.
No, it's about the mindset. Money does having the mindset that you are not owned by money.
Your relationship with
Mindset.
money
Your
has
relationship
to
with money.
shift. Yes.
That helps you in making practical decisions.
Yes.
On educating yourself financially, on what investment is like, on the decisions that you need to make, on the sacrifices that you might actually need to make in order to achieve the goal that you need to achieve and where you need to be.
Yeah, well, I obviously need to teach myself that one because I'm failing miserably.
Well, we're there for you, and we will talk about
Exactly.
that. But I think that's exactly it, because we're all human. I mean, I've been in finance for so many years, but, I was in a position in my life at one point where I didn't have access to my own money, right? That was a circumstance, and I was told, oh, you can manage, hundreds of millions of a budget at work, but you don't know how to manage. You don't know how to manage your own money, so I'm going to take control. Now, money is something that can create. It can create problems as well as solve them. And I think if we go back to what would you tell your younger self, I would tell my younger self that never give that power away to anybody, and never ever give anybody the authority to make your money management decisions for you.
Except when I was younger, you didn't have that choice.
Yes,
it was taken
we
away
didn't.
with you because
Yes.
women, up until as I said to you,
Gender
up until
norms.
1996,
Yes.
women didn't have that power.
Of course,
So-
and I understand that. But now we can self-educate. There's so much material available online. There's
And so it's up
much
to us to
support.
do it.
We educate each other. We had a lunch last weekend when I landed back in London, and I said to Soph, I said, you've got 2 young children. You need to make sure that you and your husband have got mirror wills sorted. You need to make sure there's a trust in place. I hope you live to 110. But in case anything crazy happens in the day and age that we live in, you need to make sure that everything that you are working for goes only to your children in milestones that they can access. Because even if you trust the best person on earth to be responsible, if that person comes under some personal pressure, they may be tempted to utilize what you've built, and it may never reach your children. So you need to have a policy in place. Now, she may have taken that the wrong way and said, well, why is Bijna talking about me making a will and I want to live forever and what have you? No. But then she might think, actually, Bijna's looking out for me and my family.
Exactly.
But it's true,
You know?
you could drop dead, you could get run over by a bus tomorrow.
Exactly, and that's the thing. We're
so we've
all
got to
aware of
educate
all
each
this.
other.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
And because
Absolutely.
it's about like, this is, I have your back and we have each other's back.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of the sisterhood. And even if, Bij is suggesting something that's, okay, I already know that, but sometimes it kind of gives you that mirror again to think,
And the
okay,
push.
what are the other things that, even if I've done this, what are some other strategies that I need to put in place
To protect what you've built.
it further,
Of course.
right? And that's what it is about, really. It's about protecting. And I have this is something that Roland and I often talk about, because when we talk about having kids, right, or generational wealth, as people often say, and that could be passed down to your kids or to
Siblings, anybody, yes.
whoever. And
You can't pass down what you haven't got.
Well, you may come into something and then pass it down. You can have
Exactly.
provisions in place, right?
Exactly.
You're running a business. When that business gets to the milestones that you are targeting, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when, because I know it's coming, you need to have a structure in place so that it's channeled the right way,
Exactly.
with or without you.
I'll be coming back to you on that one then.
You must, darling.
and that is also so critical in running a business as well.
The foresight.
When people run businesses, they need to understand not just I want to start a business, but literally drown yourself in the financial structure of what it is, what equity is, who and when do you need to. When do you need to give equity? Who do you need to give
If
equity
you need to give equity.
If you do need to give
You know.
equity, when do you need to raise funds? Do you even need to raise funds? Who do you need to bring on board? How do you let go of a team member that is not performing properly, even if that person is close to you? And that's something we talk about. We love each other. We're sisters, but we call each other out when we need to do
Of
stuff
course.
with work.
Yes.
And if it's not working and I say we need to let go on this issue, it's not because I don't love you, it's because at the end of the day, we're very focused on this is business and this is how it needs to go.
protecting
And we're
everyone's
protecting
interests.
everyone.
Okay, then, do you think that one of our downsides as women, so we're going back, possibly back to the motherhood, possibly back to being sisters and friends, but do you think that one of our biggest challenges and one of our biggest problems is, in fact, sometimes we take on too much?
Yes, we do. We fucking do.
Absolutely.
So
Left
how-
brain versus right brain.
Yeah.
That's just how
But
we're
it
wired
is, but that to me,
physiologically.
that's the hustle. That is the hustle. That is the hustle of trying to balance.
Well,
But we will, if you're not careful, you do get burnout. That's why sometimes I come down on you heavy, because I'm terrified that you're going to get burnout. You tell me that you've got
I have to
chest
say
pain.
something really hard. I think that often we are also in survival mode and we don't realize it sometimes.
I think
Fight or
it's
flight.
always important, and we say this to each other, stop, breathe. And we discussed this in Spain when we were talking about Violet Simon. Think about how far you've already come. I said to you today, you have, for Violet Simon, come up with so much clarity since we launched the Girlfriends topic 9 weeks ago. That in itself has forced you to take a more strategic view.
Yeah.
For you as well, there were so many conversations we had in Spain, 9 weeks ago.
Well, it helped me
And-
start with Jules' Creative Pause for Life, because
Exactly.
it's about that mental stability.
And those 3 days, whilst we were working, the evening dinners that we were having and the brainstorming we were doing, yes, we wanted to rest, but we are the type of women, we are the
keep
alpha
going.
type who will push each other to do better.
Yes.
We didn't put up our feet, although I would have loved to, with a cocktail and have a massage and say we're just going to chill on the beach. We didn't. But
I did.
you did for a day where we randomly met somebody I worked with after, I don't know, 8 years. That was-
Well, you went for.
worlds.
I have to say
Yes,
though, you
yes,
went for a
yes.
business meeting, because only the two, they wouldn't let me go in, so it's their fault they lost out
And
on
the
that
guy
one.
with the dangling ding ling ling.
Oh, yeah, we'll come back to that one another day. But
That
the
was
best
a-
bit was that I got an hour of being pampered. I then come
Good
out
for
and the
you.
two of you. Well, yeah, but I'm a little bit older and a little bit more tired.
Well, look.
But I think you've also, in a way, learned somehow to. It's something
Shut
I'm
up.
learning. Yes, to kind of say, I need to pace myself
You do.
and pause, because when you come back, you're always stronger,
You
and
are.
that's something that I'm also always. I'm trying to be very intentional about. I have not mastered it completely.
No.
Because I'm used to running at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But now I'm learning to, even if it's for 2 hours, shut off and
We're all
just
work in
say, you know
progress.
what, I need to breathe, I need to stop. And I need to take stock of how far I've come and what is working and what isn't working.
I agree.
But it's really, really hard to not. I don't see myself as someone who's not going to ever stop hustling. I'm like, my mom is still working.
We'll
and she's like,
never let
I
you.
love working.
We'll never let you. It's
But
world
I
domination.
think you've got to, so almost to the point of wrapping up, but I think as women, we've got to learn to pay ourselves with self-respect, with self-belief.
I was just
And,
going to say that.
and cocktails. Excuse me, and cocktails.
Yes.
So, because if we don't take that breath, take that pause, learn to thrive in our own spaces, we will get burnout and we will fall even so hard it will really hurt, as if it hasn't broken down already. But you can come up from the ashes. I am that phoenix from the
Yes,
ashes.
and we are
Literally.
proud of you. And
So
we
are you.
know.
That's why you're the queen of lived experience, baby.
Yes, yes.
We all are queens of
We
lived
have,
experience,
we
but
have,
you
we
have had
have,
it.
we have sort of been buried in the ground and risen from the ashes.
Rebirth.
With and you know what the beauty there is? You learn to be your own spine. And when you learn to be your own spine,
Can we learn
and
not to
you've
be in pain then?
you've seen that darkness,
Nothing phases you. You can do it.
that's it. What's
But
the
is
worst
that
that can happen? You
self-belief?
faced it. Well, beyond a point, you can either feel pity and feel bitter,
Put your
or
head in
you
the
can
sand.
say, I'm going to figure this out and get to a place that's better and help other people along the way. Even if I can change one person's life through my lived experience, I will do that. So you can either be bitter or you can make it better. And I think we choose to make
Make
it
it
better.
And that
better.
is in
Yes.
itself powerful and
Very
power.
much. Very much. Because power comes from owning your story. We talked about this at Disruptors. Own your narrative. It's the narrative shift, as I call it. You know, I can sit and say I'm a victim because X, Y, and Z happened to me. Okay, great. I might get sympathy, empathy for an hour, and then what? Nothing changes. But if I pick myself up and say, yes, that was my story, that was my journey.
But how am I going to flip the script? and
No,
change
no, no.
the
But
narrative?
also, please don't judge me because I don't think you could last for a minute in my shoes. Let's
But
be
your
clear.
power is, but your success
Let's be
is your
clear.
power.
I own
It
that.
is your strength.
I own that, but I also picked myself up. Of course, I had some support and love along the way. Well, sometimes I
little.
didn't. Sometimes I did. It depends on
But you
depends
had
on
that for
circumstances.
yourself. You give that to
But
yourself.
you say at the end of the day, I'm going to be my own backbone because I am my
Exactly.
own responsibility. I'm going to get up, face it, and do it again. And you know they say, get up, show up. That's it. You know that's get up, dress up, show up. Get up, dress up, show up. If you do that every day, that's discipline, that's consistency. Over time, you end up making a step change, and you know that's all it takes.
And that's
that's
us.
And that's us.
Get out my head! Thank you so much for listening to this beautiful episode. Until next time on Girlfriends.
Join us on Insta.
Girlfriends.talk on Instagram.
Continue the conversation with us.
And if you've got any questions that you'd like answering, you know you can get to us.
Yes, get in touch.
Drop a DM.
Love you soon.
Signing out for now. This is Girlfriends. See you
Bye.
next time.
Bye.